and I got another one of those girls, a Jersey girl, my next-door neighbor, as a matter of fact, girlfriend, with a little romantic Italian soul in her, but she gives it everything she's got when she's out there performing. So happy to have her back on the show. She debuted with us last fall and had the opportunity to get her back on the air again today. So glad to have my New Jersey BFF online with me right now, Miss Kayla Calabrese. Hey, Kayla.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you back.
I'm excited to be back, so thank you for having me again.
Sure. One of these days, girl, you really need to take the 2-hour drive and pop on over here. You know that, don't you?
I need to do it. I'm in Nashville right now, so it's a little longer than 2 hours, but if I'm home, I need to do it.
Just put the foot down and just drive straight on 95. You'll all but run right into us.
I'll do it.
But you've been busy since we've talked to you last. You got some new music out there. You've got a brand new website and all kinds of fun stuff going on. But let's back up just a little bit, Kayla, and give a little information if people missed the interview from the fall. A little bit about you. I've already kind of spoiled a little bit for the fact that you are all but a hometown girl here, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. We're next door neighbors. But
exactly.
How did you get from Jersey to Nashville, in the sense of, getting your music going? You've got some good stuff, but start from the beginning. Give my listening audience just a little bit of a background if they missed you before.
Yeah, sure. I grew up in New Jersey, like you said. I didn't grow up singing since I could talk like most singers nowadays, but I always wanted to sing. I was just too scared to tell anybody. When I was 16, I saw Wicked on Broadway, and I realized that I needed to tell my mom that I wanted to sing, and I did. I kept bugging her about it, and she finally took me to get voice lessons, and country music is just where I gravitated towards, because soon after I started singing, I picked up the guitar and taught myself that and started songwriting. So it kind of just gravitated that way, and then I realized I wouldn't have to live in Nashville in order to get anywhere in this industry, because New Jersey country wasn't super big back then.
Yeah.
I moved to Nashville in 2010, and the rest is history, I guess.
Now, you've been actually working on an EP. You've been working on getting some music out there and stuff, and I know that we played one or two of your songs before, but you got some new music out there. Why don't you tell us about this journey on how you ended up actually getting this EP produced? I mean, not everybody gets that. They're on the streets working their butts off, and, maybe not necessarily getting anywhere, girl, but you're a little persistent. And how did that all come about?
Yeah, well, my very first EP when I got in town, my very first one, I didn't know how this industry worked or how this town worked, and I was talking to somebody in passing, and they mentioned a guy by the name of Kent Wells, and so I Googled him, and then I called him, and his assistant answered the phone, and I just told her, my name's Kayla Calabrese, I'm a new artist in town, I really want to work with Kent, and I heard nothing but good things, and she said, "Well, sweetie, it doesn't really work that way. Send me some things, and I'll get back to you." And I was like, "Oh, I'm never going to hear from her again." And but then she called me back shortly after that, and I worked with him on my first EP, and then my new project. Again, through somebody, they mentioned a guy by the name of Jimmy Nichols, and I had no idea. I've heard his name before, but I had no idea like the caliber of producer he was. Mm-hmm. So again, I got in touch with him, and I got it. Like I said, I just had like a weird blip in my car here for a second, but
that's okay.
I called him up and kind of told him my story, and he's like, "All right, well, let's meet." And we met, and he agreed to produce this new EP with me. So that came out. It actually came out yesterday.
Nice.
My new EP.
Nice. All right, we're going to feature one of the songs, I believe, off of it, right? Your new single? Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. Has ER nursing, even though you've graduated, has that kind of fallen to the wayside? Are you still trying to do some of that, following that? Or has music just been like inundating and that's where most of your energies are being focused?
I actually am a full-time ER nurse still.
Okay.
Because I love it, and music, I do music full-time as well. So it's a very busy life, but it's fun. So I wouldn't have it any other way.
Does it cross paths every once in a while? Do you use your music to help with, your nursing skills a little bit on people? I'm just curious.
Not
Like,
at
if I go into the ER in Nashville, are you going to come over and sing to me and make me feel better?
Probably not.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
not. But I mean, hey, if you come into my ER and you tell me you'd ask me to sing for you, I probably would. But, no, it typically doesn't. It typically doesn't happen.
That's got to be interesting for the people that you work with there, you know, knowing that you're pursuing this other career and you're actually doing really, really well with it and stuff. And yet, you know, I mean, have you been recognized by somebody who was in the ER and, you know, might be like, oh, I just was in a car accident. No, wait a minute. Aren't you that girl that sings that music?
Actually, yeah. Actually.
Really?
It happened before. Yeah. And it was this lady. I don't remember what her name was now, but yeah, I couldn't tell you anyway. That I would get fired from my nursing job.
Probably,
but,
yes.
So I walked into her room and I was, hi, my name's Kayla. I'm going to be your nurse today, going through the whole spiel. And she was like, are you Kayla Calabrese? And I was like, yeah. And I looked at my name badge and I was like, no, it doesn't, because it doesn't have our last names on our name badges. And I was like, how did you know that? And she's like, I love your music.
Aww.
And it was so weird. It was so weird to me. And then she ended up getting a cast. And she had me sign her cast, which was really weird. But it was kind of cool.
I have to say, that's probably one of the first times I've ever heard that kind of story. I mean, music industry tends to follow some of the same stories, but that one, I think you've got the market on that one, girl.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't happen often. Like, I think that was the only time it happened. But the people at work are super supportive about it. And I don't really, go around telling a lot of people about it.
Yeah.
So I actually just had one of the, night shift nurses that I've hung out with before, outside of work. He messaged me on and, commented on one of my Facebook. He's like, I don't know why I'm just now listening to your music, but,
Yeah.
So I don't really make a big deal about it when I'm at work, so.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, the EPs and the music, are you the singer-songwriter or are you identifying with songs that other people are writing? How is some of this music coming about?
On this new EP, I got the opportunity to get songs pitched to me, which I had never had before. I typically just wrote and recorded whatever I wrote. Mm-hmm. So I took full advantage of that because it was an experience I never had before, or an opportunity that I ever had presented to me. So I took full advantage of that, and 5 of the 6 songs on the EP were songs that other great songwriters in this town wrote, and I really resonated with when I heard them. And then my new single, Happily Never After, is one that I wrote. So then that's on the EP as well.
Now, part of your bio has philanthropist listed as one of your talents. How does that fit into the other part of your singer, songwriter, nursing, and musician career?
Well, with my one single, "Give," that I believe you've played on your station, which thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
It's a song with such a good message and meaning, and when I released that song, I wanted to really do something with it and not just have a song out there. So I partnered up with the Ronald McDonald House and Toys for Tots and did a lot of charity work with that. I got to perform at the Ronald McDonald House, and I collected a bunch of toys for Tots and delivered them, and there's a video of that and all that. But it's just fun, and I like to kind of give back with the gift that I've been given. So.
Well, that's pretty awesome, and I think that's important. I mean, I think that's in any musician's career, when they have the opportunity to turn around and use the gift, like you say, the gift that you've been given, back to people. I think that helps define you as a person. Everybody's struggling to be a singer or songwriter or musician or whatever, especially in Nashville, and it's a tough city. I mean, it's a tough racket. You got to have other things going on, but even someone as quote unquote as new as you are to the industry and stuff recognizes something that's one way that to use your talents and to spread the love of something, and I think that's very commendable for you. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I hope you continue to do that through your career.
I will, for sure.
And I just think that's pretty cool. But speaking of Give, now, is that one of the songs that you wrote?
No, that was one of the songs that I got pitched to me, actually. And
okay.
That was one where I heard it. I got to take home all of the hundreds of CDs that had all of these amazing songs on them. And I kind of narrowed it down, I think, to maybe like 25 or so songs. And mind you, I have to pick 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I went home to New Jersey, and like I just played my mom and my dad some of the songs, and immediately when they heard Give, they were like, that song is just, that's you in a nutshell. Like, that's how you live your life. So I knew I was going to record it anyway, just because I loved it so much. But it was good to have the kind of that reassurance and all that with that. But I did not write that. I wish I had.
Now, when you got it and you knew you were going to want to put it out there on an EP, let me ask you this. You're going to take it back to them and you say, yes, you want to record this song. Did you just take it back and use a studio artist, or is this something that you brought in a band for? How did you get the music for it?
Yeah, well, they have like a work tape or a demo of all of these songs, where they have like a demo artist come in and sing,
mm-hmm.
and they have studio musicians. Like any Nashville, it's really well done, so you can kind of see what it's going to sound like ultimately. But I always want to put my own twist on things, so
sure.
I worked with Jimmy Nichols on that one,
mm-hmm.
and we tracked 6 songs in, I think it was a 2-day period. And so we had musicians come in, incredible musicians come in, and we would sit down and listen to the demo, and I would kind of say the way I wanted to, like the way maybe I heard something a little bit different here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the cool thing about being an independent artist is you have that like artistic freedom to kind of make things your own still.
Right.
So I got the chance to do that with Give, and kind of put my little twist on it. But I had really good musicians come in and record the music to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you performing some of these songs out on any of your outside performances? Are you?
I'm actually hosting. Yeah, I'm hosting a writers' round May 25th at a little venue called The Country. It's in Nashville near Vanderbilt.
Okay.
So that'll be May 25th. I believe it's from 7 to 9 p.m. So it'll be me and a few other writers that I got to invite there. So it's people who I've written with and have created like friendships with here in Nashville that are going to be there. And then and I'm performing at CMA Fest too, so that's coming up, and I'm gearing up for that. I'm not sure exactly where or what stages or what times yet, but I'll have it figured out shortly. I'm assuming.
Good. Now I noticed that you have some videos on your website, not necessarily singled videos or whatever, and I see you have a lyric video for Give. Are you you got the plans in the future for doing any like videos out, not necessarily lyric video, but performance videos for any of your music that you have out there?
Yes, I would love to, and I've been talking about doing something like that. So I'm hoping soon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the exact details yet, but I'm hoping soon for sure.
Okay. Well, since we've talked about Give, I think what we're going to do is play that for the listening audience and give them a chance to listen to Give. And we're going to come back. Can you hang on there for a little bit longer, Kayla?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I always like that as an answer. But we've got more with Kayla. We're going to talk a little bit about social media and how you can reach out to her and things along that line when we come back in just a moment, and also feature another one of her tunes, plus talk about the new single that's out there as well that you guys are going to have the opportunity to listen to. So keep it right here. We'll be back in just a few moments. More with Kayla Calabrese, my New Jersey girl. We'll be back with her in just a minute. Got to pay some bills and give a listen to her a little song coming up called Give, right here on Wall to Wall Country. What a great song. Nice, upbeat, fun. Sounds like you had some fun doing that one too.
I definitely did.
Yeah, you're right. And it has a nice message. It's kind of just one of those things where people tap along and really like the music, but when they really stop and listen to the words, they might find a deeper meaning in it. And it's a fact of life. It's not about one thing. It's about what you give back to life. It's not so
exactly.
And I think that message can't even be said enough, even if it's said in every song. You know what I mean?
Especially nowadays, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a challenge, it's definitely a challenge. I mean, and the world presents itself where it's a tough challenge every day to keep wanting to get up and go to work, some days, and yet still remember to, like, give back a little bit every single day, or pay it forward, or however you want to call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So you've got some other songs out there, and they're doing quite well. And like I said, I do want to touch base on that new single you have out in just a little bit. But another one of the songs that I want to remind people that we featured when we chatted last year was a little something called Whisper. And I know that was one of my favorites too. You want to tell everybody a little bit of a background about that one?
Yeah, sure. And that was another one of the songs that were pitched to me. And that song in particular, the second I heard it, I actually heard that for the first time in the actual pitch, like the song pitching meeting. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I heard like the first verse and the beginning of the chorus, I immediately said yes. Like I automatically committed to that song as soon as the second I heard it, just because it was such a beautiful song. I love singing ballads anyway, and it was such a big ballad, and I loved the meaning and the message behind the song, and felt like everyone, like a lot of people, could relate to that. So it's just a song about loss and kind of redemption. And I loved it. So
now, when you're listening to these songs, what kind of ear are you turning towards it? Are you something that you're trying to relate to it in your own life, or are you trying to see if it would maybe talk to people on a large scale? What are some of the things that you're listening for when you're like, you do like or not like a song? But what are those things that you're looking for?
Definitely if I can relate to it, because I feel like if I can't relate to it, and I'm just going to be singing it, not really believing what I'm saying, so I never want to do that. I always want it to come from like an organic place, and then and I also listen to see if it's something that I would want to hear, other people would want to hear on the radio, and if it's catchy, or you try to listen to it from that standpoint too. But I mainly listen to it and see if I can resonate with it, then I can kind of put my spin on it and hopefully have other people resonate with it as well.
Do you find that at any point in time there's some lyrics you want to change? And I'm assuming that that's not possible if it's a licensed song or whatever. But are you listening to them and going, I wish it would have said this or said that, or is that part of the package where everything seems to fit exactly the way it's supposed to for you?
For me, I feel like everything kind of fits the way it's supposed to. Maybe there's a few instances where I'm like, oh, well, I think that this word would kind of sound better here, or sing better here. But other than that, you kind of have the freedom to sing it kind of how you want to. Obviously, you can't go away from the melody too much.
Right.
It's already a song, but and it has already been written. But you kind of have the freedom as an independent artist to like I said, put your own spin on it, sing it your way, and make it your own. So, but not typically. Typically, they're pretty well written when by that point.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. Well, I think we're just going to take another quick break, and we're going to play Whisper. And then I really want to touch base with you on some of the social media and how people can find your music. I'm assuming most of the stuff is electronic, and they can find it that way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. On all the electronic devices, whether it's the iTunes or the Spotify or anything like that.
It's on all of that, yeah.
Yeah, they can track those kinds of things down that way. But looking at that and looking at what we can look forward to from Kayla Calabrese. That's all coming up in just a minute, but we've got another one of her songs that is a really, really pretty song. It's one of my favorites from Kayla, and we're going to be listening to that right after we take the bottom of the hour break. Kayla's going to be back with more on how you can get in touch with her and things along that line in just a moment. So don't go anywhere, guys. Still great music to come and more Kayla Calabrese coming up. I'm tripping over my tongue. In just a moment. My New Jersey BFF coming up right after this. Talking about tugging at the old heartstrings there, let me tell you. One of my absolute favorites that Kayla Calabrese puts out there, a little something called Whisper. And Kayla, I have to tell you, while we were listening to the song, and I had you on hold there, my morning guy, the guy that does the Morning Lifeline show, he's in it, 6 o'clock, does the news, the sports, the weather, and all that. at 7, he walked in. He's like, man, I love her music. He's a big fan of yours. He's like, I just tweeted her. I'm like, well, I'm sure she'll get to it in a minute, Bob.
Let me look.
Bob Matthews, his name is, and he's like, man, she's good. And I was like, well, she's from New Jersey, and he's like, no, I didn't know that. That's really awesome. So, I'm trying my best. I'm getting you some fans up here in Pennsylvania, girl.
Well, thank you.
But and that song is that's just an amazing song, and you picked a big winner there, and I think you know that. I mean, that's a great song, and it's just a pretty amazing tune, and your performance on it is spot on. It's really, really good.
So much.
Yeah. And and I think that's the thing. I know we've been playing that song because he's just like, man, she's just really, really good. And and that's the thing. You got to get your music out there. People's got to hear it. So that's always a plus that we can help you do that. With more and more of your stuff that you're going to get out there. But another way, obviously to get out there and let people know what you have going on is in today's society is the social medias. You're a big social media girl?
Yeah, I try to be. I'm getting better. I used to not want anything to do with it, and then I realized I kind of had to have everything to do with it.
Yeah.
So I'm getting better, but tell Bob I just tweeted him back, by the way.
Oh, good. Yeah,
as we were speaking.
Cool.
So,
he's
But I'm getting better, and I'm on Snapchat now, and I'm getting better with that. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have a Pinterest. I haven't been on it in a really long time, but I know I have one.
That's good. Well, yeah, and I think I think part of the thing is use it for what it's for. You know what I mean? Connecting with your audience, connecting with your fans, people like Bob, people who listen to your music and are like, wow, this girl's really good. I want to know more about her. I want to know where she's at and when she's releasing new music and stuff. And, web pages do what they do, but I think social media is one of the bigger gainers that you're going to find is going to work for you and really get you out there.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, and you and I've chatted, you and I've chatted on Facebook, and it's nice to have, that quote unquote immediate or almost immediate response. Do you find people do ask you questions about your music on your social media sites?
Sometimes, yeah, like I'll get people, people for the longest time, because we were waiting for the right time to release this EP, and they were like, when is it coming out? We know it's ready, because I try to be very transparent on social media and like put things as I'm doing them, so they knew that I had recorded it a little while ago. So I had people like, when is it coming out? So I finally released it, and but I try to respond as often as I can and as frequently as I can. So
yeah. Well, that's really cool. Now, Glass Silhouette is the new EP, and that's got Whisper on it. It's got Give on it, and it's got another. Well, there's 5 altogether, but it's got another tune on it that we're going to play at the end of the show. And just to remind everybody that if they did miss this interview, the whole entire thing gets recorded and played back on a Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time with the interview in the second hour. So 9 a.m. Eastern is if people miss the interview, they can catch it again on Sunday morning. But the one song that we talked about that is your new release off the EP is a little something called Happily Never After. You want to tell us a little bit about that song? Because I know that's one that I did not play last fall.
Yeah, sure. The title of the EP, which is Glass Stiletto, actually came from one of the lyrics in the song Happily Never After. But the story behind it, I wrote it after I had been talking to this guy from back in New Jersey, and he was obsessed with Disney. Red flag number 1, I knew that, but I still went with it. And we talked for probably 3 or 4 months, and we were just talking back and forth. And I would go home, we would go out, and I thought things were going really well. And he texted me one day and asked if he could ask me a question, and being a girl, I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to ask me to be his girlfriend probably. And then he asked for my friend Holly's phone number because he wanted to ask her out on a date. So I wrote that song a few days later, and I did not give him my friend Holly's phone number. So.
Well, good for you. Oh, live and learn, girl. Live and learn.
That's it.
Nice. So this is one of the songs that you actually did pen.
Yes, I did. I co-wrote it, and it's kind of like a cynical take on Disney and fairy tales.
Nice. And this one's on it, and you've got a few more on there, a little something called Me Time, which if I can read into that one, that sounds like a little give me a personal space time.
Yeah.
You've got Set It on Fire, which I'm scared to ask what that one's about. And one called
listen, figure it out.
That's right. And one called Bullets. So the six song CP, three of them you guys have kind of a little background knowledge. The other three you're going to have to figure out for yourself. And once you get your hands on the EP by getting it from Kala, you can then text her or not text her, but Facebook her or whatever and go. So this is really what that's about, isn't it?
Yep.
But this is available, and it's out now. People can get their hands on the entire EP through all the electronic medias. You are on the social medias and things like that. You said you try to be transparent a little bit on your Facebook page, but can you give us a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge of something maybe you've got some plans for that your fans can look forward to and keep an eye on on your website and your Facebook and social medias for?
Some cool things for CMA Fest that will be coming out soon.
Oh, okay. That's it?
Yeah, for now.
Man, you're tough.
It's my Jersey upbringing.
All right. I'm just a Pennsylvania girl. You're New Jersey. Yeah. Nice. Well, you've got a lot of things going for you, girl, and I just wish you the best. And honestly, seriously, anytime you happen to head on home, you want to, just drive on in and stop by or whatever the case may be, we'd love to have you in the studio. I know I asked you.
Awesome.
Last year, and I know your schedule's crazy busy with the whole multi-talented and tacting things that you have going on in your life. But, for sure, we'd love to have you swing by one day and just pop in and have a little chat.
No, I'll be in New Jersey in August. My brother's getting married, so
awesome.
Possibly then let's set something up.
Well, you know how to reach me. You can reach me a couple different ways. Facebook is one of them or whatever, or through Core or whatever. Hey, let me know when you're around or whatever. We'll throw you in the studios and have a little chat. That'd be a lot of fun. But
sounds good.
Looking forward to whatever you have going on, big cloak and dagger girl. And but I do. I wish you the best in everything. Now, everybody needs to remember that we are going to play one more song off her 6-song EP, Glass Stiletto, which is out. You can get your hands on it. Happily ever, what is it? Happily ever never.
Happily never
after. I'll get it. I'm tripping over my tongue today for some reason. Happily never after. And just a repeat performance of that because, we'll be playing this entire thing back on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, something you might want to throw out there, too, for all your fans and let them know if they missed it today, they can catch it Sunday. So,
all right.
Well, listen, I'll let you go. I've held you up long enough, but thanks again for checking back in. And as always, the door's open, and you got something new and exciting going on in another 6 months. Girl, all you have to do is get in touch with me.
Absolutely will do. Thank you so much for having me again.